Hello， 大家好，我是乔治先生，现在在美国的 LA， 要为各位访问一个非常刺激、动感、正点、震撼、爆炸性的电影，就是《玩命关头》第7集。不知道你们第1集到第6集有没有赶快回味一下啊？哈哈！今天在我们的场景呢，我们访问到很多的大明星，而且在现场他们的里面的这个跑车呢都一字排开了。哇，在我后面的各位看到，这个就是唐老大的车了。这唐老大不在，我把他开去兜风，你说怎么样？太好了 ！Everybody get， 钥匙，我知道，美国人很喜欢把那个钥匙藏在遮阳板里面，这样，这是改装车，没有遮阳板。
Looks like the sins of London have followed us home. We're being hunted.
Ouch is what I remember.
Woman, I am the cavalry. I love it.
The first time when I interviewed with you, what did you do?
I was doing push-ups.
Yes, we are excited about going to Taiwan.
Oh my God, is that top secret?
Top
secret. Of the top.
Check it out.
Here we go, game time.
Hell yeah! Daddy's gotta go to work.
You know we're crazy, right?
Punch it!
真的很难想象一部原创系列电影，原班人马一路陪了我们15年，但玩命关头做到了。
Yeah, let's roll sound. E-marker.
15 years ago, if somebody say to you that this movie gonna be a franchise and you gonna end it for 15 years, what would you say?
You're crazy. I would say you're crazy.
But it's real, right?
But it's real.
But it's real.
But it is
I'm
real.
kind of, emotional right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to bring back a little bit memories.
Sure.
You and me and your dog sitting in the tent, year 2000, Universal Studio. That was the first interview, you and me. Wow.
That feels like another lifetime ago.
Yeah, but you know what? Because of that, when I back to Taiwan, I host for every single event for this franchise. I never miss one.
Oh, that's great.
So I have to thank you to bring me as a part of the family.
Well, you were there. You were there from the beginning when we didn't know.
Thank you very much. Actually, I made my own poster. Furious 7 with me.
Nice.
Just in my phone. You want to see that?
Yes, I do. Come on, I gotta see this. Get out of here.
God. Oh my God. You gonna see this?
I gotta see this.
This is a masterpiece, I'm over here.
Yeah, baller. Rolling in with Save Them.
Before the cameraman started counting the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, what did you do?
No, I don't remember. I was doing push-ups.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michelle is doing the 10 perfect push-up when the cameraman is counting down. I was like,
hilarious.
Wow, 10 perfect push-ups.
So funny. I had just come off of doing Girl Fight, and I was still fresh off of that workout kick. So, I definitely would have related to Dwayne Johnson a lot more then than today, with my workout regimen. That's so funny. I can't believe that.
Oh my God.
Doing push-ups before an interview.
Yeah, because maybe you're trying to make your muscle.
Yeah, I was trying to make
more.
sure I'm like nice and buff, I had to compete with like all the boys.
Do you remember the first time you saw the Fast and Furious movie? Is it going out with somebody or is it a date?
I don't remember if it was a date or not, but I think I was back in college. I think.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of these kind of like action films.
Right.
And this movie, the very first movie had it all, right? It had car chase, gunfights, martial arts, and all that stuff. And so that was what kind of attracted me to want to come and be a part of this.
Really?
Yeah.
So when that time you have this idea, someday I'm gonna go in.
Well, someday I knew I wanted to make a big action film,
yes.
So I'm very happy now to be a part of this.
Dominic Toretto, you don't know me. You're about to.
从第6集现身最后彩蛋，杰森史塔森的加入让影迷嗨爆了。而第7集他要从一开场就给大家震撼教育。
He was so excited when he told me about the opening. It was like, listen, Jason, I've got this thing, and
You stood by the hospital bed, and you're gonna. And he literally painted the picture, and I was like, oh, I love it, I love it. I was like, I don't care if that's the only scene I do.
You're damn right it is. A death wish.
The death shot was the dark version of them because you both fight for your family. He's trying to be revenge, and you try to protect. What do you think about that?
And you're right. It is the darker side of the ideals that Dom is about. It was also a hat trick to get somebody who doesn't play villains to play a villain. And in order to do that, you have to protect them with a kind of a layered character with some promise in the future. So that's what we did.
在戏里开车耍狠，但杰森却有一个不为人知的小秘密。
A little bird told me that you failed your driving license 2 or 3 times. What happened?
You know what? I had a lot of bad sort of habits because I was driving before I took my test many years ago, and so I developed a lot of bad habits. Because I was driving to work, and so I failed several times, a couple of times, and then passed on the 3rd time.
Agent Hobbs, right?
That's right. I'm also the last man on Earth whose computer you want to be hacking into.
I'm here for the team that crippled my brother.
You just earned yourself a dance with the devil, boy.
除了和唐老大的对决，另一场光头大战也打得超级精彩。
I had other commitments, unfortunately, at that time. So what we could fit in is what we see in the movie, where he opens the movie, he closes the movie. We all agreed, and we get together with the studio. It's like, how do we create a scenario in the beginning that's memorable and epic? And then how do we come back at the end that's memorable and epic? I love it, and fans have always said you should inject your wrestling moves, and I didn't want to blur the lines, but in this case, it was appropriate. We know there's going to be a big explosion, and there's the 10-foot that's, you're blowing out the building, the whole thing. So, I go to Jason and I say, hey, what if we, at the end, we punctuate it with this move, with the rock bottom. It's never been seen before in cinema. Fans are going to go banana.
It's a bit of an understatement. Yeah, I mean, he's a monster of a man, and you stand in front of him and you just go, Jesus, thank God this is a movie.
Their ego is answering for them. Then they say, I don't know, I don't think we should. It's your big finishing move. I don't want to be a part of that. Or you do what Jason did, which was, oh yeah, mate, yeah, give it to me. Put me through the table, glass table, everything, cut us up a little bit. He came with no ego, and then when you come to a fight scene like that, and a sequence like that with no ego, then you get magic, and that's what we had.
Ouch is what I remember.
Fast 8, I'm calling Santa Claus. That's it. There's no other way to go. Me and Hobbs and Santa Claus. And I'm gonna put Vin on Rudolph. That's it.
不让男生专美于前，唐老大的女人当然不会娇滴滴。蜜雪儿罗卓奎兹上回和综合格斗冠军吉娜互 K， 这回则是穿着礼服高跟鞋对战综合格斗锦标唯一女子冠军隆达鲁西。
Would you believe I knocked him out with my charm?
You ain't that charming, bitch.
Ready?
Yeah, this is the first time in my entire career that I actually dressed like a girl.
I remember there was an interview with Alan Shaw. You walk out with white jeans and high heel shoes, and right before the interview started, you just took it off.
I couldn't.
You just took it off, and you said you hate high heel shoes.
Oh, no way.
But this time you have to wear the high heel shoes and the sexy red dress, fighting with the Rondas.
Yeah.
How was it like? Tell me.
It was awesome, you know. I mean, at first it was a scene where I was supposed to be in a sniper kind of situation. And then, I realized that everybody was getting dressed up, and I also looked back at my entire career, and I tried to think back to the time where I actually dressed like a girl.
Tank top.
Jeans.
Tank top. Yeah, jeans.
Yeah.
Boots.
Never dressed like a girl, so I mentioned it to the writer. I'm like, you know what? I I think instead of being, you know, on top of a roof with a sniper rifle, maybe we should look into the possibility of being part of this elegant party. But then they turned it into a massive fight with Ronda Rousey, so like, you know, it kind of made me eat my words, you know. It's kind of hard to do a drop kick in high heels. And Ronda's freaking sick. I mean, she's like the type of person who will have me over her head, and she'll be talking to the fight choreographer and like forget that I'm over her head, and I'm like, hey, you know, you can put me down now.
Okay, on the ground, please. Yeah.
She's awesome, though.
So you get booze or?
I don't care. I love that. I love that. Beat me up.
Girl with
I want to make it look real, and you know, us girls, we don't get a lot of that realistic fighting stuff, you know, in films. So when a girl who's like not into lipstick and not into, you know, looking good for some guy all the time actually does a fight sequence, you know, they can focus on something else other than, you know, looking good.
而这一次，连平常负责电脑科技的卢达克里斯都露了一手呢。
I like things.
Yeah, you know that. Yeah.
Yes. I had to do a lot to get that fight scene. You know what I mean? It wasn't written in the original script, so I had to make it happen.
I was like, whoa, this guy really can fight.
I'm glad you like it, man.
If Vin, Jason, and The Rock fight against each other, which one do you think will win?
Vin, Jason, and The Rock, I think they'll all knock each other out. That's how I feel.
At the same time?
Yeah, at the same damn time.
And I might get yelled at if I answer it.
I think it would be like a meteorite crash. It would be like a giant crater, and nothing would be left in its way, and I would not know where anyone is at that point.
Yeah.
Jason is little.
Yeah.
I'll probably just kick him right quick. Just quick little kick, and then I'll run afterwards. I will shoot Ben and Dwayne. They're too big. I'm gonna talk a little mess first. Yeah? Really? Is it like that? And then, pow. You know what I'm saying? Because the talking is gonna make them say, "Oh, we ready to fight." And then what you gonna do? Huh? Huh? What? Bow.
So you think this is street fight?
Yeah. Pow.
Perfect line.